Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to dive into the darkest and most fascinating side of American history. In today's video, we are going to explore the life of one of the most notorious, powerful, and feared criminals the world has ever known, Al Capone. During Prohibition in the United States, he built a criminal empire so vast and sophisticated that even federal authorities had difficulty tracking him down. In this documentary, we will uncover how he ran his illegal businesses, from bootlegging to gambling dens and brothels. We will reveal the corruption schemes that Capone maintained at the highest levels of government and who his allies were within law enforcement. And of course, we cannot forget the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, one of the bloodiest and most iconic moments of his career. Stay with us until the end, because this is a story you won't want to miss. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and get ready for a thrilling journey through the corridors of the mafia underworld. Al Capone's illegal empire. The story of Al Capone begins in Chicago, where he built his empire during the 1920s Prohibition era. He controlled vast networks of bootlegging operations, moving millions of dollars annually. The sale of illegal alcohol was his main business, but Capone also ran underground casinos, betting houses, and brothels that spread across the city.
What truly set Al Capone apart from other gangsters wasn't just the scale of his operations, but the way he managed everything. He operated like a true CEO of crime. Each branch of his operations had appointed managers, trusted men who reported directly to him. Frank Nitti, for example, was Capone's go-to man for the daily operations of his businesses. Nitti ensured everything ran smoothly, from the logistics of smuggling to alcohol distribution.
Capone knew that maintaining control required a well-organized structure. He divided his network into small units with local leaders ensuring silence and loyalty. This allowed him to distance himself from many criminal activities, making it more difficult for authorities to incriminate him directly. Corruption and government influence. Al Capone's success wouldn't have been possible without an incredibly vast corruption scheme. He had government officials and police officers on his payroll, ensuring his operations ran smoothly.
One of the most well-known names was Chicago's mayor, William Hale Thompson. Under his administration, Capone found a form of protection, as many of his illegal activities were ignored in exchange for generous bribes. Capone knew he needed allies within law enforcement and even the judicial system. Many judges, officers, and federal agents were bought off by his organization. This gave him a strategic advantage, allowing his operations to continue uninterrupted.
Even when investigations progressed, Capone used his influence to corrupt justice. At the same time, he cultivated a public image of a philanthropist, distributing food to the poor and presenting himself as a respectable businessman. It was a tactic that confused the public and made it harder for the authorities to see him for the ruthless criminal he truly was. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre. In 1929, Capone orchestrated one of the most infamous and bloodiest events in organized crime history, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. On that day, 7 men associated with rival gang leader Bugs Moran were executed in cold blood in a Chicago warehouse.
Capone meticulously planned the attack, hiring hitmen to pose as police officers and carry out the killings with precision. The massacre shocked the nation and put Capone firmly on the radar of the federal government.
Though he was in Florida at the time of the killings, everyone knew he was behind it. Yet again, his network of protection and influence ensured he wasn't directly implicated in the crime. This event marked a turning point in his career and further cemented his criminal empire. It was the kind of bold move that solidified his power and spread fear among his enemies, ensuring his reign as the undisputed kingpin of organized crime in Chicago. Despite all his power, Capone made one mistake that would cost him dearly: tax evasion. In 1931, he was finally arrested for tax evasion, a far less glamorous but effective charge. The operation to bring down Capone was led by Elliot Ness and his team of the Untouchables, a group of incorruptible federal agents.
Although Capone controlled many operations, his business managers also became targets of investigations. Along with Frank Nitti, other key figures in his empire included Jake Greasy Thumb Guzik, who handled finances, and Tony Accardo, who oversaw security operations and executions. These men ensured the money kept flowing and that Capone maintained absolute control over his empire, even from a distance.
If you're enjoying this deep dive into the history of Al Capone and his rise as America's most feared mafia boss, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It really helps us continue bringing this kind of content to you. Now, let's dive into the final chapter of Capone's story and find out how he was finally captured. After his conviction, Al Capone was sent to Alcatraz, where he spent the final years of his life.
Isolated from the outside world and his criminal network, he began to suffer from syphilis, which severely impacted his mental and physical health. When he was released in 1939, he was no longer the man he once was. His fortune and power had faded, and he spent his remaining days in seclusion, dying in 1947.
Despite his downfall, Al Capone's legacy continues to live on in popular culture. He personifies the American gangster, the man who defied the government, built an empire with an iron fist, and left an indelible mark on the history of organized crime. We've reached the end of this incredible journey through the life of Al Capone. From the height of his empire to his ultimate downfall, Capone left a legacy that still echoes in the popular imagination. And what about you? What did you think of this story? Is there anything else you'd like to know about Al Capone or another big name in the mafia? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. See you next time.